co-equal branch of government, and it is your obligation as a member of the executive branch to honor decisions made by the highest court of the land? Yes or no, Secretary?
We are abiding by all federal judges' orders. Absolutely.
The Justice Department said that when the administration was ordered back in March to stop sending detained migrants to a mega prison in El Salvador, you personally made the final call to continue the flights anyway. Is that correct?
And the decisions that are made on deportations, where flights go and when they go, are my decision at the Department of Homeland Security. And we'll continue to do the right thing, continue to work and protect Americans, no matter what radical judge comes out and tries to stop us.
You just heard a sitting cabinet secretary brush off the courts with 2 words: radical judge. And in a hearing, that isn't a throwaway line, it's a tell. Now watch what happens when Congress demands a simple yes or no and gets a statement that changes the entire room.
Thank you for that update. For many of us that served in uniform, oftentimes it was overseas. It was in the Middle East, or it was in Asia, or it was in Europe. And I think those AORs are very important. But for too long, president after president after president, our backyard has been left wide open, and we're completely shocked why all these terrorists are in our country and all these people are unvetted. All this chaos is happening when in our own backyard was unsafe. So thank you again for one. I know you traveled, you met with heads of state, El Salvador, Mexico, a couple that come to mind. But I just want to thank you and for making our backyard a priority, and ultimately to keep Americans safe. Texans are more safe today than we were a year ago. And a lot of that is due to President Trump and due to the leadership that I'm seeing right here of executing those policies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentlelady from Illinois, Ms. Ramirez, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chairman.
American citizens have been arrested or detained. We focus on those that are here illegally.
Secretary Noem, you lie and you lied to the American people. I will be including into the record an article by ProPublica from October 16, 2025, entitled, "We found that more than 170 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents. They've been kicked." There's nothing smiling about U.S. citizens. I'm sorry, that's very inappropriate. Let me continue. They've been kicked, dragged, and detained for days. The next one.
The Trump administration has specifically targeted the worst of the worst. The individuals that we are going after are those that are violent criminals, those that are breaking our laws.
Secretary Noem, again, you lied to the American people. I will be including into the record an article by the NBC News from December 7, 2025, entitled, "ICE has arrested nearly 75,000 people with no criminal records, data shows." The co-equal branch of government, and it is your obligation as a member of the executive branch to honor decisions made by the highest court of the land. Yes or no, Secretary?
We are abiding by all federal judges' orders. Absolutely.
The Justice Department said that when the administration was ordered back in March to stop sending detained migrants to a mega prison in El Salvador, you personally made the final call to continue the flights anyway. Is that correct?
And the decisions that are made on deportations, where flights go and when they go, are my decision at the Department of Homeland Security. And we'll continue to do the right thing, continue to work and protect Americans, no matter what radical judge comes out and tries to stop us.
You lied on the record, and you lied to members of this committee. You violated court orders by not turning around deportation flights bound for El Salvador, where we know that hundreds of people under your leadership have reported that they were raped, they were beaten, and they nearly died. And your agents used chemical weapons in Chicago despite court orders from District Court Judge Ellis forbidding their use. Secretary Noem, you, Gregory Bovino, and your ICBP and DHS deputized agents have waged an unaccountable, unlawful, unconstitutional war against communities across the nation. Our residents have been surveilled. They've been threatened. They've been tear gassed. They've been hit with pepper balls. They've been shot. They've been subjected to warrantless arrest and precision immobilization maneuvers. They've been kidnapped and disappeared under your leadership. So we have a lot to talk about, but you and your department continue to reject congressional oversight. And you know how I know this? I know this because I've requested a meeting with ICE Field Office Director Russell Hutt. I requested a meeting with Field Office Director Samuel Olson. And when you came to Chicago on October 3rd, I publicly and formally requested a meeting with you. So I'm going to be including a letter I sent on October 3rd requesting a meeting with Secretary Noem. So Secretary Noem, I want to ask you again, will you commit to meet with me, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have a lot to talk about. And actually, my scheduler has a couple dates that I'll get to you after this meeting. I appreciate that. So look, I want to be very clear. You have misused resources appropriated by Congress. You've engaged in unethical behavior. You have repeatedly made false and misleading statements to Congress and to the press. And you've undermined the separation of powers and disregarded the role of Congress and the courts. Bottom line, you lie with impunity. You reject checks and balances, and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I've already called for your resignation. You may remember I hand-delivered my request to you back in May, and I urge you to reconsider resignation because I've taken the first step towards your impeachment, and I've called on the Judiciary Committee to open an investigation into your lawlessness. Mr. Chairman, I know that at the end we'll be entering a number of articles into consent, but since I have a few moments, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter calling the Judiciary Committee to investigate Secretary Noem's impeachable offenses. Whatever you choose, the American people will have justice, Secretary, and you will be held accountable. I'm going to make sure of that every single day. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.
Here's the point. This hearing starts with the classic security victory lap. The backyard was wide open. Now we're safer. Thank you for executing Trump's policies. That's not an accident. It's framing. It's telling the audience before any questions start that anything critical is automatically anti-safety. Then Ramirez walks in and does the one thing officials hate most. She drags the conversation out of slogans and into the record. Not how do you feel about this, not what's your intention, but what happened, who did it, and what's the justification. And the most important move she makes is the simplest one. Yes or no. Because yes or no questions don't just sound dramatic, they're legal pressure. They force a commitment. Once an official says, we follow court orders, the next question becomes unavoidable. Then why are you describing a world where you'll keep going anyway? That's the trap door. And that's why the phrase radical judge is the moment everything spikes. Calling a judge radical in a hearing isn't just politics. It's a signal. It turns the courts from a co-equal branch into an obstacle. It reframes judicial oversight as the enemy trying to stop us. And if you're hearing that, what you're really hearing is obedience becomes optional depending on who's speaking and who's being targeted. Even if you agree with the policy, you should not want a government that runs on, we'll do it anyway. Because once that becomes normal, it doesn't stay limited to one issue or one group of people. It spreads. It becomes a habit. And then when something goes wrong, when rights get violated, when people get hurt, everyone suddenly pretends nobody authorized anything. Also, don't miss what looks like a small detail, but is actually pure leverage. The oversight commitment. Ramirez says she requested meetings, got stonewalled, then forces a public yes on camera. Will you meet with me? Yes or no? Agencies can dodge emails. They can ghost staffers. They can slow roll records requests for months. But a yes under oath-adjacent pressure in a hearing on the record, that's a receipt. And that's why this isn't just an immigration argument. It's a power argument. Who gets checked? Who gets to decide what the law means in real time? And what happens when the executive branch starts treating court orders like background noise? If you want more breakdowns like this, full context, no cheap cuts, and the exact moment the mask slips, hit subscribe and comment the timestamp where you think the room changed, because for me, it was the second those words left her mouth. Radical judge.